I'm laughing at myself because I just went and brushed my hair so I could talk to you. Every so often I think, oh no, I've got to put makeup on, I've got to do other things. And then I'm like, you know what? I just need to tell you what's going on. So the last video message I posted, I was talking about the fact that the hormonal changes have meant that I'd put on weight, and I thought it had something to do with the insulin resistance changes. And then all my blood work came back and it's like, no, actually my insulin resistance is fine. But at my last review, the doctor put me on DHEA. Now, I was on DHEA last year, but it was suppositories and they were just being, they would break and be difficult. And so I was just like, this is a pain in the what's it? And so I wasn't going to do it. But then I just said to her in May, look, now that everything's balancing back out, do I need to reconsider it? And if I do, can I take an oral supplement rather than, the other route of administration? And she said, yeah. And so she just prescribed it. Now, this leads to the phenomena that I've now kind of labeled the competent patient. And it's a problem, right? Because I've been doing so much research in this space. When I'm talking to the doctor, even she's kind of amazed at the things that I've come across. And, because of what I'm doing now, I have just put together the patent documentation for the new system. And I'm kind of proud of myself, really, because it's pretty amazing, even if I do say so myself. But I decided after my blood test to stop the DHEA, and part of this is about how the system analyzes things, and so it was like, maybe it's the DHEA. I'd put on 4 kilos in a month. Well, in 6 days, I've now lost 1.7 kilos. Now, that just goes to show you sometimes what we think of is, a big weight problem or whatever, but sometimes it's just fluid retention. And you don't even realize that it's just fluid retention until you do something that makes the fluid go away, right? You kind of don't realize that what's sitting there is just fluid and not fat. And I think that this is an important thing to remember when we start looking at, weight gain and also where we carry the weight, because one of the things that I really noticed since I'd gone on to the DHEA is that I was putting on weight, particularly around the abdomen, and it just seemed weird. And that's part of what made me think it must have been an insulin resistance thing, but it's not. Anyway, so I kind of got annoyed because, the weight that I lost November through to sort of March, it's all back. Well, I've just dropped some of it again, so it's weirdly not all back. Some of it's going away again. But the system's basically saying to me, you need to actually, prove to everybody, and I hate it when it's right, prove to everybody around, what DHEA does, because this is the thing that I've done over the last year and a half. While I've been doing all of this research, I'm also using myself as my own case study. And, so here I am, I want to do something a bit more drastic about the weight stuff, right? But I'm quite rightly being reminded that in order to help everybody, which is the way I always do things, I really need to wait and see what happens. And, just with changing the DHEAs, because my androgen levels, my testosterone and stuff, like through the roof, because I was taking it when I didn't need it, and the doctor prescribed it when she probably shouldn't have, because she should have actually looked at my bloods. But I asked about it, she just went, oh yeah. And that's the problem with that competent patient thing, right? So now that I've stopped it and the water weight seems to be disappearing, and I've noticed a huge impact on my appetite, like almost within a couple of days. My appetite sort of, back to where it was. It was crazy. Like I was really hungry all the time. And carbs, like things that I wouldn't normally do. So it was just really interesting to see how that's changed. So watch this space because it is one of those supplements that a lot of people are kind of recommended to use alongside their HRT. And, you've got to make sure it's really warranted before you include it. But it also, this whole point goes back to everything that I keep talking about with regards to titration. You must check and recheck. And, the doctors will say, I'll take this and see how you go in 6 months. You can't do that. You really need to do every 8 weeks until you've got the system perfectly settled to the line that you want it to be and that you understand exactly what's going on. Thankfully, from a mental perspective, I'm really clear and good and really focused, which is fantastic. And because of the androgens and the way that they work, my pain is better managed. So if you haven't heard me talk about testosterone use and pain management, then, keep your ear to the ground, because I am going to start putting out some more I want to say specific videos about different elements of HRT and what benefits psychologically and how it benefits and why. So first we have to get all the patent documentation finalized. Because I learned the hard way just recently about what happens when you tell everybody what you're doing before you've protected it. But that's another story. All right. I hope that was of interest. And I'll see you soon.